Boom. Come on, Naeem. Oh, Naeem's texting me during the middle of the stream. Naeem, we're already live, brother. You can't change the fucking thumbnail now. He said, yeah, do the second one. Naeem's over here sending me thumbnails for the stream that I'm currently live on. You're a bit late on that one, Naeem. Come on. The gentlemen are bulled to the fucking tits. The tits are bulled up. And I ask you one more time I'll ask this. All right, Naeem. I still haven't gotten a good, articulate, well thought out, well analyzed, well put together answer for the following question. And the question is, Naeem, who the fuck do you think you're dealing with? Joey Bananas? That's my question. That's my question for the audience today. A profound a profound question to which I've not received any answer that I have found satisfactory. Most of you haven't even answered me. But I ask you again, who do you think you're dealing with? Fucking Joey Bananas. Joey Bananas is out here putting together the trades of a lifetime, the swing trades of a generation, things that they'll write about in books. They're going to put together oh, shit. Oh, my goodness. As I was going on my rant about how historic this trading run is going down. By the way, Naeem is also bossing up Ollie in our group chat. Because we have a group chat with the individuals that run the YouTube channel, put together the growth, put together the fire, right? And Naeem's in there busting up on Ollie, letting him know, Ollie, you're fucking slacking, bud. Better get your shit together. I completely spilled the espresso. Okay, hold on here. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, we're going to get in. This is going to be a 2-hour stream. Okay, this is going to be a longer stream than normal because it's an emergency. The markets are heated up. Bitcoin is pressing up against all-time highs. It's about to break out to new all-time highs, go into an aggressive price discovery, followed by Ethereum catching up in price. Why? Because Ethereum right now is currently trading at 24.50. The last time Bitcoin was at all-time highs, which was about 106,000, what was Ethereum at? 4,000, 4,100. So the price of Bitcoin is the same. Price of Ethereum is much lower. So there's going to be a huge catch-up rotation, a huge catch-up trade on Ethereum just to match to where it was when Bitcoin was at all-time highs previous. But then as Bitcoin goes into price discovery, guess what Ethereum's going to do? Ethereum's going to not only go to its previous all-time high, but itself will go into price discovery. ETH can go into price discovery. I can't believe it's a cucked asset. It's dog shit. It doesn't pump. Blah, blah. Just be patient. Be patient. We've put together the most fantastic swing trade of all time. It's going to play out before your very eyes. Now, give me a moment to just wipe up this espresso that I so fantastically had knocked straight over. Also, Martino's an avid listener to the stream, tagged me in a couple posts yesterday. He was 4 espresso shots deep by the end of the day. It's okay. Listen, I appreciate the attempt. I appreciate the effort. But it is 11 a.m. where I'm at, and I'm already 4 deep. And this is going to be 2 more right now. So you got to pump those numbers up, Harry. You want to have fucking fire blood? You want to have blood pressure of 180 over fucking 200? You're going to have 6 espresso shots before noon. All right. Give me a moment, gentlemen. We're going to get straight into charts, but I just need to do a quick one of these. Also, the Discord is starting to put together some bangers. Okay, we have J-Works in there hustling. He just put together, he saw a fire play on gold, a gold short. We'll talk about. I called out a fire. Well, we caught an ETH long off the lows, which is number 1. So the gentleman got in on that. I longed ETH at 1,700, and I wrote it up since then. Why the fuck did my screen go off here? So I rode the ETH long from 1700. Okay. We rode it all the way up to 2650, 2700, right? At the Pico top, this was all in the Discord. We got receipts, made money. Oh, I got to make sure I send it in the Wins channel how much money I made too. Then at the Pico top on that false breakout on Ethereum, which I'm going to show you here in a second, opened up an ETH short and gave that out to all the guys in the Discord. Last night, ETH wigs down to 2300. Boom, closed the short. Big profit again. So we ripped the long on ETH from 1700 up to 2700. Shorted the Pico top down to where we wicked down. Closed it, took profit, added more position, added more margin to the ETH long. What do you think you're fucking dealing with? We're over here fucking putting together the banger trades. And I'll show you how we put it together. And I'm not going to tell you the other trades that we had already put in because you got to be inside the Discord for that. But as we close the trade and we make our money, I'm going to go ahead and brag to you about it on stream so you get encouraged to go ahead and join the Discord so you can make money with us inside. You got to be a part of a network of fucking savages who are trying to make money. What the hell? I've talked about this in the past, but the reason that we have the Taylor's code and the reason it works so well is because you have to have a network of ultimate professionals that are around you every single day trying to make money, have a vision, have a common goal, have something that you can all work towards together. As a team, you're always going to accomplish more, okay? If you're playing a soccer match or football, right? Football, we'll call it football. If you're playing football, it's 11v11. Well, if one side decides to show up with one person, and it's you, and you don't want to have a team around you, how do you think the 11 versus your 1 is going to do? Sounds stupid, sounds obvious, but that's literally how some people choose to go through life. Some people literally choose to go through life jumping on the pitch in a soccer match with one human being, one person versus 11. Well, if you play that match 100 times over, how many times do you think that one man versus the 11 is going to win? 0. Impossible. Never will happen. Okay? This is how you choose to go through life. This is how you choose to trade. This is how you choose to invest. This is how you choose to enjoy yourself. You have nobody around you, nobody to help, nobody to hold your hand, nobody to actually teach you, educate you, no one to actually pick you up, motivate you, give you that fire, give you that vision. And you wonder why, I can't make money, or I keep losing, or I don't have the right job, or I don't have the right income. Yeah, because you don't have the network. You don't have the team around you. My whole life has been about building teams and building up individuals around me. Because the better people I can surround myself, not only does it raise my lid, but it raises their lids and it raises their income opportunity, their income potential. And as they get richer, as they make more money, guess what? So do I. That's how it works. That's a team. I have a team for the YouTube. I have a team inside the Discord. I have a team that does e-commerce. I have a team that does fitness. These are the people that I surround myself with to give me the good information so I can continue to compete at a high level. Look at this. 6-pack, ripped to the gills, investments booming, making M's at fucking 27 years old. You thought it was by accident? You think I did it by myself? Fuck no. I had savages that I surrounded myself with. People that could help me grow, help me build. Because the more you can help people make money, the more successful you can make others. In turn, the more they can do for you. Anyways, so let's talk about making some fucking money. All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not already inside the Discord, link is in the description. Join up. Let's go make some fucking money, all right? Ooh, Alif just asked me about the insurance business. Yes, it's a fantastic opportunity to make money. The gentleman inside the Discord, we're going to get them going in the sales industry, insurance industry, show them how to build up these large incomes that we have through insurance, and then how you can use that to invest in the markets. Because if you've got a large income, you can largely invest. If you don't have a large income, you're only playing with fucking scraps in the markets. You don't want to play like that. You also don't want to play in a situation where you have to use your investments as income. That's not the play. Day trading, sitting there scalping, 1 hour time frame, 15-minute time frame. That's not how you want to invest. That's not investing. That's day trading. Okay? You're not going to make money day trading, at least for a couple of years. You want to invest. You want to swing trade. You want to be long-term bullish. Okay? The only way you can do that, the only way you can be patient enough to bag hold to get I made it money, you got to have an income so that you can supplement your lifestyle, supplement your expenses, and supplement your investing so you can continue to size in, right, with more money whenever there's pullbacks. So the way we do that is through the insurance industry, making a shit ton of money through insurance. So, Alif, I will get back to you on that. Well, I'll just tell you right now. Yes, you got to have a U.S. Social Security number to be able to get licensed to operate in that industry. So if you don't have a U.S. Social Security number, unfortunately, I'll get with you. All right, I'll get with you. We'll figure it out. Okay, just had an idea. See, ultimate professional. You got to figure shit out. All right, gentlemen, let's get into the charts. Huh? All right, let me show you how well we've been doing here and how we're going to print on this next leg higher. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. Boom. Okay, ready? Mr. Producer. Mr. Producer. We're going to start with this chart because, I mean, I just got to pat myself on the back, you know? Just pretty much have played this one exactly how we thought it would play, okay? So I'm going to start with a little bit different charts today, and we're going to go through some charts that we haven't looked at recently. So, others chart, okay? Why are we bull to the tits? Everything is priming, getting primed for another leg up higher, okay? So, for the past month or two, we started looking at this others chart. This others chart is the alt season indicator. This is altcoin. It's an alt season indicator. It's an altcoin chart. So, this is others, total market cap, excluding the top 10, okay? So excluding top 10 assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, BNB, USDT, Doge, all that shit. So we've noticed what we learned this cycle, okay, what we figured out was these downtrends after these big pumps on altcoins, right, from the bear market lows, June 23, up only until March 24, okay? That's when Pepe, March 24, did its 10x from 300 mil to 3 billion. Okay, this is the first leg up, big leg up on altcoins. Then we started downtrending. We respected this mid-range on the 4-year reaccumulation range, right? We respect these levels, so we pay attention to that. So we respect this downtrend, and eventually we broke the downtrend, so we get a pump off the lows, break the downtrend, basically front run that mid-range a bit, retest, one last little shakeout, boom, up only, okay? So we get this tag of the 1, the top of the range, back in December. Okay, so we didn't break out of this 4-year range that we set from 2021 cycle. So we tag it, we end up rejecting from it. Create another downtrend, same thing. And I said on stream, you can watch it, down into here, we tagged it here. I said, all right, this should be the last pullback. Come back in. This is the last final capitulation. This was on when everything G'd, when ETH was dropping to like 1,500, right? Everything G'd, everybody got afraid. We came back up into here, and I said, okay, here we go. We're getting squeezed in here. We're squeezing against this downtrend. As soon as we break this downtrend, I said, bid in here, because we're going to get a pop. What happens as soon as we broke the downtrend? Same as last time. We get a pop right up into the mid-range. So this is now resistance on the mid-range. We draw back. This is where you want to enter in again. Popped up again. This time, we bust through the mid-range, the 4-year reaccumulation range, pop up into here. This is where we're taking profits on some things. You know, if you were holding some altcoins from down here, you can take some profits up in here, etc. And then you pull all the way back, and look where I had this line drawn out. I had this line drawn out from this first red candle because I said, okay, cool, here's the start of the pullback. Who could have foreseen this? Pulled it straight back. I said, we're going to come back down in here. We're going to retest the mid-range because it goes from resistance, breakthrough, turn it back into support. Pop through, come back down, turn it into support, pump. So what do you think is going to happen here? Pop through, turn it back into support, pop. Okay? So where do you think you want to start buying your altcoins, your assets? Where do you think is a good time to start buying? I'm just going to give you some free alpha on stream right here. So look at this. You can't make this shit up. Perfect tag on this morning, right? Perfect tag right on the mid-range. We got it. Bang. Got the tag. Okay. So we might spend another day or two, you know, drifting down into here, or we might just start popping right there. Okay. That's huge. So let me give you some context on this others chart. So this is the alt season or altcoin chart. So we were going over this weekend. It was, I believe it was Friday night in the Discord. So we got into one of the voice channels, me and some of the gentlemen in the Discord. And for about 2 hours, we were just in the Discord charting, taking a look at things, seeing how we want to position, setting up some shorts, setting up some longs, making some trades. And I was showing the gentleman the significance of this chart. So yeah, we know that altcoins are probably going to fucking send after this pullback right here. Okay, it would just make sense. And this altcoin chart doesn't range really, unless it was bear market. If you look at it, it doesn't range. It just runs hard as fuck, pulls back very hard. And then as soon as it's done pulling back, it runs hard as fuck again, and then it pulls back hard. Runs hard, pullbacks hard. Runs hard, pull back hard. Okay? So this is a swing trader's dream if you're playing this properly. Okay? So if every single time it starts to run, it runs hard, and when it pulls back, it pullbacks hard, what do you think is going to happen over here? Well, it's starting to run. So do you think it's going to run hard again, or do you think it's going to start ranging sideways? Answer should be obvious. Based on the data, this chart runs hard. But here's what's the difference. So this 4-year reaccumulation range that all these assets are in crypto, except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, again, is the only one that's broken out of its 4-year reaccumulation range. Everything else from the majors, like Ethereum, Solana, BNB, all the major assets, and including these large charts, it's incredible the confluence between them all. Every single one of them is still in this 4-year reaccumulation range that was set from last cycle, back in 2021, except for Bitcoin. So everything has a catch-up trade to be had once that rotation from Bitcoin into these other assets takes place. So on this move, this is why I'm under the impression that we're going to get the true alt season on this move. This move, when we retag this mid-range, okay, you retag it, and then what happens? You're going to shoot up. We're going to send it back to range highs. This will be the 1, 2, 3, 4th tag of this range high. Well, I would expect it on this move if Bitcoin's going to be in an aggressive price discovery and Bitcoin's above, 130, 140,000, 140,000. I expect this altcoin chart to finally break out of this range and at a minimum, rocket to this 1.618 fib. That's your alt season. That's when shit gets absolutely ridiculous. Now, you want to get really fucking fancy with this, or let's get bullish. You want to get real bullish with this? Okay, let's show you this then. All right, watch this. So we got 2 sets of fibs on here. So let me put this in log, okay? Because in log mode, charts play better in logarithmic mode during a true bull run, okay? Which this would be. If this others chart goes to new all-time highs, that would only take place in a true bull run where there's exponential growth. Well, when there's exponential growth, you want to put your charts in logarithmic mode and put your Fibonacci's in log mode as well, okay? So what are we looking for? So we're looking for fib confluence. We're looking for targets on our fibs that are confluent with each other from the linear to the logarithmic fibs, okay? Well, here's your 4-year reaccumulation range, just like we were talking about. The 1.618, this is the linear 1.618. This would be the worst case scenario target. That would be the absolute most bearish, let's see, make sure I get rid of all these. That would be the most bearish scenario if we get a breakout. What's the next target? The linear 2.618 at $1 trillion market cap, okay? Now, these are big differences because this move from 255 up to 645, that's a 3x. Up to $1 trillion, that's what, almost a 5x, okay? But here's this confluence. Look at this confluence right here, okay? This is called fib confluence. The linear and logarithmic fibs have a point where they intersect or very close to intersecting right here. It is at this $1.3 to $1.36 trillion market cap. Why is it confluent? Because the logarithmic, the first fib target, in the logarithmic scale is 1.3 trillion. And then the linear 3.618 is at 1.36 trillion. This would be your ultimate, this would be your confluence. This would also be your ultimate level to hit. Okay? This would be best case scenario. Everybody retires after this bull run. Okay? Let's do, now we can just leave it like that. Right? So why is this important? So I would do full stack G at this level. Okay. So if this altcoin chart comes up into this zone, this would be my full stack G zone. Why? There's fig confluence. This would be a massive move. Things would be beyond heated up. That's when I would be getting completely out of my positions. Okay. So that's the confluence. That's how you look at targets. That's how you figure out, okay, what makes sense for a top on this chart if we really get the move that we're expecting. Okay. This is what I'm not betting on this, but if it happens, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm going to start with this target. This is the most conservative target, which is the linear 1.618. We get up in here. Okay. We reevaluate. Where are we at? Are we completely overblown, overbought? Things are pretty much topped out. Or by the time we get up in here, do we pause? Do we reaccumulate for a moment? Do we, range sideways before making a second move up into here? Right? Something similar to this where, this chart doesn't really range at all, but you basically get a pop up into here. You kind of pause out for a bit after breaking this mid-range, and then boom, you kind of hit this top, and then you come down. So it'd be something like, you shoot straight up. You kind of do something like this, and then boom, like that. Okay? That's what I'm looking for on this chart. Okay? Now, the way that you capture the altcoin performance is you got to pick the winners. You got to know which altcoins are going to outperform this next leg up. That's where the Discord comes in. That's where you got to know, okay, what's new, what's hot, what's been around, what's confluent with their L1s, or what's beta to the L1s, like the boys club. What are the things I got to hold so I can capture the meat of this move that's going to take place on altcoins? Okay? So that's how I'm dissecting. This is how I'm analyzing this chart. Okay? So I'm making a bet that this is going to break out to new all-time highs as we hit range highs again. That's what we want. Okay? So that's your others chart. There's your targets too. I just gave you guys targets. How thankful. Like the stream for that, huh? How about a little like, huh? So that's the others chart. Okay? Another thing we can take a look at is, what should we take a look at? I'm not going to show you this one. This is for just the Discord. This is the ETH cycle targets chart that I have, where I know exactly where ETH is going to go. Okay. Not going to show you that one. Let's take a look at, let me show you the ETH short that we had put on, just to show you how we made money on this short. Look at this. Okay. So on ETH, let's take a look at what ETH is doing on the daily. Okay. So ETH has this false breakdown out of this cycle's range. Okay. So this cycle, ETH created this large range between $1,700, $1,750, and $4,100. Okay. From this cycle. So how do we play this inside the Discord? Here's the downtrend that we've been respecting on ETH this entire time. Do a false breakdown. We come back up into here and we pop up and we reclaim this range. Okay. And then we move sideways to break the downtrend. Okay. As soon as we broke the downtrend, I opened up an ETH long down in here at about 1750. Okay. We got the receipts inside the Discord. I sent in the timestamps. As soon as we break this downtrend, I got long ETH. So I literally opened a long. Okay. So we didn't catch the Pico low, but as soon as we were to flip bullish, we flipped bullish and we caught the long. And what happens? Bang, we get this move straight up. So we printed on that long. We still have the long open. Okay. We're going to ride that bitch out to the end of the cycle. And then we come up into here. So we had this move up here. Boom, come back down. And then we had this false breakout. On this false breakout, we knew that the daily RSI on Ethereum that we talked about last stream. Whoops. The daily RSI that we talked about last stream was overbought. See? So we were very overbought. So I figured, okay, this is going to be a local top. We're going to get some type of pullback on ETH. So I put it in the Discord. I said, all right, let's go ahead and open up an ETH short. And this is how we set it up. I opened it up on the 14th, which was right up in here. Once again, I have the receipts in the Discord, so go ahead and join up if you want to see that. Short. So we opened it from right here. And we had our target set like that. The, what's it called? Stop loss is right there at about 2,700. Yep. Okay. And what happened? We cracked it. Okay. I had it set for this demand zone. Look what happened. As soon as we wicked down right here, where did we come into? Who could have foreseen this? This fucking demand I've had drawn out on the stream. Okay. So we printed on this short, and as soon as this wick happened down into this demand, it closed our short, right? Right there is where I had it set. Okay, because I knew this would be the demand zone. And look at how perfectly this tagged and bounced. Got the short. Guess where we fucking longed again. So we added to our long and opened a new one. Longed right here. Now we're up on the long. Okay. Why do I do that? What's the idea behind that? I'm not looking to day trade, but it was a pretty obvious move. Okay. So what would be the idea of hitting that short? Well, because it was a pretty decent sized short, so it was worth a lot of money. Okay. And well, let's see, what's Martina? Beautiful. Yeah, I got you, brother. So why the short? I shorted with some size. Okay. So whenever we close a short, we had a nice chunk of change that we could now use to rotate back into our spot positions, back into our altcoins that we know are going to outperform on this next leg up. That's important because it allows you to get more size in your positions, also hedge for some downside if it comes, and without allocating a lot of capital to the short, right? So you put it on some leverage, get some leverage on that short, print a nice little bag onto the downside, and then as soon as you close that short, you get all that extra capital, and then you can rotate it right back into your assets that are down 20% off the highs, 25% off the highs. Beautiful strategy if you can do it effectively. I wouldn't encourage you to do that by yourself or just try it just because you want to try it. You probably get fucking smoked. But if you're trading with us and you're watching how we're maneuvering through the market, and you can hit those trades with us, there's going to be nice ways to print some more money to then go ahead and position. And then you see what happens. As soon as this wick happened, I also got filled for a long, an ETH long down in here, and now we're up on the long. Okay? So this very well could be the extent of the ETH pullback. Could it come lower? Yes. This would be the lowest I would expect it to come. And so I already had this drawn out. If this plays, so be it. That's just God giving you a fantastic entry in all of your altcoins in ETH beta. This would be miraculous. Not miraculous. It wouldn't be just... It would be. It actually would be. It would be miraculous if you get this entry. I don't believe there's any reason that this would come out lower than this. 2100, 2160 is about as low as you should be coming down on ETH. If you're coming down further than that on ETH, then we're concerned. Okay? So you could get a move like this. Boom. Because that's about 400 points. That's a decent move on ETH, right? That would be down another... 10%, 12%. It's like, it's possible, right? Off the high, 20%. Yeah, it's possible. I just wouldn't expect it. I would not expect it. I believe that this is probably the extent. If you come back down into here, maybe at the very low, sweep these lows. Maybe, right? Back in 2200, sure, maybe. I really wouldn't expect it though. Okay, this looks like that this was the demand that it, this looks like it was the demand it wanted it to hold. And look at how perfectly it came back and tested this little consolidation region right here. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. Overall, we're very long though, okay? So what's the next stop for Ethereum? Well, for those of you holding ETH beta and hoping for ETH to go into price discovery, this would be the next stop for Ethereum. So let's go into perfect. Okay. So look at this. We were talking about this on Friday in the Discord too after hours. We're just on taking a look at charts. So on the way down on this last leg, Ethereum created multiple CME gaps. Okay, so CME gaps, these take place on CME futures charts. Why is this important? Because Bitcoin and Ethereum have ETFs now, they get traded on equities and equity markets. Equity markets are 5 days a week, 9 to 5. They're not hustlers like us in crypto where it's 24 hours, whatever. Because they don't trade 24 hours a day, gaps can take place in the chart. What does that mean? Well, from the time that the session closes to the time that the session opens up again, the price of Ethereum may have fluctuated so much that by the time the session opens again, the price gaps down significantly lower or significantly higher, creating a blank space in the chart because the trading didn't take place there. So for example, on Friday, let's say ETH closes the day 5 p.m. Eastern at $2,000. And then over the weekend, because crypto is still trading, even though this CME chart is cut at 5 p.m., crypto is still trading. At the end of the weekend, ETH is at $1,000. So it dropped down 1,000 points over the weekend. So on Monday, whenever this CME chart opens up again and creates the next candle, there's going to be a gap down from 2,000 to that 1,000 new price point that it starts at on Monday. So now there's a gap between 2,000 and 1,000. So the reason there's a ton of alpha in these charts is because these CME gaps love to get filled at some point. Could be next week, could be in 6 months, could be in a year. But at some point, these gaps get filled. That's how these charts trade. So the same way that they get filled to the ups or to the downside, right? If you gap up and create charts or gaps below you, right? These things get filled to the upside. Well, beautiful. So first gap that we had to fill on this last Jeet all the way down here whenever people were capitulating, 1400, we created this gap. What do we come back and do? Immediately, boom, refilled the whole thing. As soon as we refill it, we pump straight up into where? Who could have foreseen this? The very next gap in the chart is exactly where we topped out on ETH. We come in, this gap right here, we fill this entire gap. Boom. What does that mean? That means that on the next leg up on ETH, whether it happens this week or next week, but I do believe it's going to be very soon, by the end of May, if not beginning of June, when we take this next leg up on Ethereum, we're going to fill this entire gap. So the price on ETH is going to come up to 3,300, okay, on the next pump. So it's going to be up another, 25, 30%, at least 30%, I would say. I mean, it's probably going to fill the whole gap, so 35% we'll call it. Big fucking move on ETH. So this is how quick these charts are going to move, and why I have confidence that ETH is going to fill all these gaps this cycle is because these like to get filled. This move down, this is why this is very important. So let's do a channel. Let's do this. So look at how this downtrend played, right? Okay. Look at this channel. As quickly as this price nuked down this channel, this steep, until we finally broke out of the channel, and then look what happens. Boom. This will play both ways. If you have a super aggressive G in nuke in price, just straight down, boom, right? Why would we not be able to have the same thing to the upside? Why not, right? It's like, of course we could. So we could start like this. Look at that. right? Why would we not be able to have as an aggressive of a move back to the upside? So you see, we start down here in the channel, right? Pop into the channel, we start creeping up, pump straight up, come all the way to the top of the channel, and then come up into here, right? So up into this move. So every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So just as fast as price can nuke down over a couple of months, that price can recover in a couple of months. I don't see any reason why it couldn't, right? So next move on ETH is going to be 33, 3,200 up into this range. Then we probably pause out for a bit, reaccumulate down in this $3,000 to $3,200 range. And then what do? We're coming for the last gap. Where's the last gap at? Up in here at 39 to 4,000 ETH. When we're at 3,900, 4,000 ETH, what's that look like on the regular chart? It looks like there's going to be a move where we finally break out of this range from this cycle, because you're at 4,000, right? 4,000, 4,100. You crack this level again, 1, 2, 3. You crack that level again, you're attacking these highs from last cycle, which is previous cycle all-time highs. You attack those highs, Bitcoin's an aggressive price discovery, altcoins start moving, then ETH comes up and sets new highs up into here. That's the way I'm playing it. That's the way that I see it. Okay, so the idea is you got to make sure you're positioned correctly ahead of time so that you can capture the bulk of this move on Ethereum, because this catch-up trade is going to be huge. The last time Bitcoin was at these same exact prices, ETH was at 4,000. Look at this. I'm gonna just show you. This is important. Oops. I want you to understand what we're actually doing here. Look, the last time that Bitcoin was at these same exact prices, Ethereum was at $4,100. So ETH was right here. Okay. Look at that. ETH topped out. So we can even call it right here at this top on Bitcoin. Okay. ETH nukes straight down with Bitcoin. Oops. Right here. Okay. Nukes straight down. So in the same time frame, they both pull back, but ETH pulled back much harder. Bitcoin pumps up. Bitcoin is back at its all-time highs. ETH is only at $2,400 compared to $4,100 last time. So what I'm trying to say is, not only is there going to be more upside due to Bitcoin going to price discovery, correct, but you're now going to be able to capture so much more of that move from Ethereum into price discovery, because the price of Ethereum is so much lower right now compared to Bitcoin. What does that mean for the ETH BTC chart? Okay, so pay attention to the way that I'm thinking about this. So the value of Ethereum compared to Bitcoin has gone down for the last 4 or 5 years, which makes sense, because as Bitcoin drew down, Ethereum drew down harder. Okay, so now Bitcoin is back up to its previous all-time highs, and Ethereum's worth much less than what it was last time Bitcoin was at these levels. So therefore, that ETH divided by Bitcoin chart, the value of Ethereum denominated in Bitcoin, is now lower. ETH is worth less compared to Bitcoin, okay, right now. So that's this chart, ETH BTC, which you can see, down only, right? So was ETH a great investment last time when we were pumping from here up into here? Yes. Was it a great investment from here up into here? Yes. But even more so here up into here and above, is ETH going to be a good investment? Why? Because it is so much less valuable compared to Bitcoin than it was in December. So look, December, right here, its last local top before we G'd it hard, right? Look at that. See? It's confluent. So ETH topped. I'll show you all three. Look at this. Okay, look at this. Okay. So this in the middle is Bitcoin. Bitcoin tops here, relatively. Ethereum tops here at the same time. So they top at the same time. So the value of Ethereum here on the top, this is the alt season indicator. Whenever this starts pumping, that tells you we're in alt season. Okay, so it hasn't yet happened yet this cycle. Very important analysis right here to understand this. So ETH divided by Bitcoin, local top right here, pumps right here. Sure. So we'll do a ray. Oops. Oops. The fuck? Okay. All right. Top's right there. So that's the value of Ethereum divided by Bitcoin. If this chart's going down, ETH is losing against Bitcoin. This is going up. Bitcoin or Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin. So we top here. We top here. So after we topped on Bitcoin and started to distribute over here, so Bitcoin's value stayed relatively the same as it was distributing in this range. So distributing, this was this distribution right here, right? It was distributing right here. As this was distributing, ETH started dumping, right? Started coming down. So because the price of Bitcoin was moving sideways, but the price of Ethereum was going down, this chart started nuking straight down because Ethereum was losing value against Bitcoin. And then finally, Bitcoin does obviously pull back hard here. And during that pullback, Ethereum obviously pulled back even harder. So this chart continued to nuke hard until, look at this. We just so happened to come right back down into our all-time low demand zone from the previous two cycles. So this was the lowest that the ETH BTC pair has ever been in the last 3 cycles. We retraced the entire pump from 2021 cycle. We retraced this entire pump, right, all the way back into this demand zone, and then look where we get a bounce immediately. Boom, right here. So that means what? Because the value of Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin has drawn down so much, the bet here is that traders are finally seeing the value in rotating capital into Ethereum over Bitcoin because there's a lot of upside, a lot of a catch-up trade to take place for Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin. This would be the maximum RR, best RR trade right now. So the risk to reward here is big because you have very little risk because this chart has never really come down lower than this level, but very, very, very high reward because you can get a pump all the way back up into here. Okay. So what you saw over the last last week or two is you're seeing Ethereum is actually starting to pump harder than Bitcoin on green days, which I've been paying attention to. Okay. And you see that with this ETH BTC chart. What the fuck? No way. My mouse just died. Hold on. Matrix attack. Must be Logan and Kamala. Logan and the Borders are Kamala Harris seem to have... here we go. I got it back. Defeated them. Okay. So the whole point I'm trying to make here, all right, is that this ETH BTC chart is due to pump because we've hit this very low level demand zone. Bitcoin's at its previous all-time high, okay, that we set before, and ETH is half the price, a little bit more than half the price of what it was last time. So you have so much more potential for a return, so much more RR by aping into ETH in here, because the last time Bitcoin was at this price, ETH was up in here. So not only do you have all of this move just to get back into even, right? So you have this whole move just to get back to even value where we were last time, which is right here, right? So you have this move just to get back to even from this move. But then as Bitcoin goes into price discovery and we go to about 140, 150,000, right? And we start pumping up into here. As this move takes place, now, if this continues to pump and ETH is outperforming Bitcoin, even as Bitcoin's moving into price discovery and going up, that means that ETH has to be moving up and appreciating faster than what Bitcoin is. And that's where you're going to see this fucking boom straight up into 7,000, 8,000 ETH, right? That's what we're looking to do. If Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin on this next leg up higher, we're fucking printing. Because that means Ethereum has to be appreciating faster to Bitcoin, which would make sense, which is why you've seen ETH up more on green days than Bitcoin. If you pay attention, look up how much percentage ETH is up compared to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's up 2% on the day, ETH is like up 6%. That's good. That means it's outperforming to the upside. That's when you see that ETH BTC chart start to pump. You start to see ETH catch up in value compared to Bitcoin. That's alt season. When the very top chart I have showing right now, oh shit, you can't even see it. Fuck. Okay. Whenever that chart at the very top is pumping, that means ETH is doing better than Bitcoin. Okay. So Bobby asked, do you think we dip back into the demand zone, one last buying opportunity? It's not a very big move at all to get back on this little demand zone. So it could. I wouldn't necessarily bet on it. I would more so at this point in time be tracking this others chart and the fact that we literally came right back into this liquidity right here, or into this mid-range right here. I would be using this chart to bid, and I would be using the normal ETH chart to bid. So I would be doing this. So if you get back in here, I'm bidding here. If you get back into here, I'm bidding here. Okay. I wouldn't necessarily use this BTC chart. This is like cherry on top, right? Once this starts moving up, you're printing. Okay. I'm bulled up to the tits though, gentlemen. I'm bulled up to the tits. Bitcoin's going to keep pumping. Okay. Bitcoin's going to go to new all-time highs, and what's going to happen is as Bitcoin's ripping to about 150, 160K, I'm not betting on the most outrageous scenarios. I'm just making you aware of what's possible, right? You always want to play super conservative, okay? You want to be conservative and make your money, but never so conservative that you miss out on any meteoric moves. So what do I mean by that? Conservatively, I expect Bitcoin to go to 140, 150K. That's the next fib target. But in a best case scenario, similar to what happened in 2021. So 2021 was basically a best case scenario bull market. Okay, you had COVID, which created a massive reduction in interest rates, which allowed for a shit ton of money to enter the monetary supply, which is liquidity, created the perfect conditions for a bull market and for altcoins basically to go stupid. So in a perfect situation, again, if we get it, where interest rates keep coming down lower, global liquidity keeps pumping, people are going to start to FOMO in. And when I say people, I mean more than just people. I'm talking institutions. I'm talking countries. I'm talking multi-billionaires, people with trillions of dollars of money. Okay, the Saudis, the fucking governments in the Middle East, the government, including the U.S., etc. They're going to start to FOMO into Bitcoin at 150,000. And the effect of that is going to be what? You pump to 200,000, then 300,000. And the growth becomes more and more exponential because it's two things. Number one, it's a game theory, because as everybody starts racing to have the next, Bitcoin reserve basically, right? it's going to force more and more nations into the game because they're going to have to get their Bitcoin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be made. So as people start to accumulate and gets more and more aggressive, the accumulation of the asset, it's just basically an exponential aping into it because then everybody has to do it. So there's going to be a lot of FOMO. What was going to be the other point? I had 2 points. The game theory. Oh, I don't remember if this was the second point, but the other point is that the people that are going to be FOMOing into Bitcoin are going to be massive institutions. Okay, so there's going to be enough liquidity to push it. Now, let me show you this. All right, but anyways, this is the catch-up trade we're going to look for on ETH. So ETH right now is at a much lower price than where it was compared to Bitcoin last time Bitcoin was at this price. Okay, so there's a huge catch-up trade plus outperformance to the upside if we go into price discovery. All right, there's your ETH analysis. Okay, ETH BTC analysis. So a huge opportunity right there on this catch-up trade on ETH. Okay, all right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. I'm going to show you some targets on Bitcoin. Okay. All right, let's hide the fibs quickly, and then I'll show you the targets I have for Bitcoin. Okay. Look at this. So Bitcoin, very scammy move here, which is good because it's telegraphing a potential future play. All right. So what did Bitcoin do yesterday? We rated the highs from the previous all-time high push, basically faked everybody out on a breakout to grab liquidity, and then nuked straight back down. We had this little scam wick right here. Okay, so you basically in this same candle, or in this candle, pumped all the way up, had the highest weekly close in Bitcoin history. Okay, so we had the highest weekly close on Bitcoin in all-time history. Why? Because look, weekly close was at 104,000 here. Weekly close was down in here. This was the next highest weekly close, which was at 102,695. So the highest weekly close previous, was this one right here at 104,000. On Sunday, yesterday, we just had the new highest weekly close ever on Bitcoin, which was 106.5. So we rated these highs, and then we also wicked up after that weekly close, wicked up into here and rated all these highs except for this one and this one, and then nuked back down to basically liquidate late longs. Okay, this is super bullish. Why? Well, it's the highest weekly close of all time. Where's the RSI? Not overbought. Okay, this is why I'm confident in this move. Look at how overbought RSI was over here when this was actually the local top. Look at how high RSI was overbought here on this huge pump from October 23rd. We went up only for 6 months. Up only for 6 months. Super overbought. Dip right back down into it. Super overbought. Okay. And then we cooled off for 8 months. Super overbought right here. Then we cooled off. Well, on this weekly move, we cooled off. We came all the way back down into here, which was confluent with this move. Look at that. So last time, we were super overbought, cooled all the way down right into this range right here, okay, in the RSI, weekly RSI. So weekly RSI, we do this 8-month reaccumulation range, okay? And look what happens. We come right back down to this level. Overbought, we cool off for 4 or 5 months, and then look what happens. We come right down into the same range, even a little bit lower before we get our bounce. Here's where we're at on the weekly RSI. We still haven't had this aggressive overbought on the weekly. What does that tell me? Still room for this, which this would be our move up to 140, 150,000 Bitcoin. You see how it's confluent there? Came back down to the same level after cooling off. Then we got a pump all the way back up to new all-time highs. Okay? All right, I'm going to get back to this analysis here in a moment, but I have to use the bathroom because I'm about to die. So this is going to be a 2-hour stream. This is why we're going longer today, because there's just a lot of shit to look at. A lot of things to be bullish about, a lot of things to be positioned for, because we're basically at the very beginning leg of a huge bull run. You cannot miss this shit. You're not going to get everything you need just from these YouTube live streams. I'm going to give you a shit ton of game, but you need to be a part of the Discord if you actually want to get as much value out of this market as humanly possible. It is $50 a month to be a part of the Taylor's Code, be a part of the private Discord, get access to myself, the other individuals in there who are trading, making money, investing. $50. If you even have $200 total invested in your portfolio, $50 a month is worth it to turn that $200 into $1,000. It's worth the investment, okay? It's just a no-brainer. If you have anything more than $1,000 invested in the market, you would be remiss. You would be an absolute... You would just be ignorant to think that you're going to capture as much upside as humanly possible and sell at the right time just by watching YouTube videos. No, you need to be in there live action while it's actually happening 24/7 in the Discord, okay? But I'm going to show you why this move on Bitcoin, I expected to move much higher based off of this weekly RSI. All right, I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see. So we're going to do... This is going to be the first time I get to use this one. Watch this. Be right back. Taking a short break. Bomba! Mi bomba! All right, gentlemen. Let's get back to the fucking regularly scheduled fucking programming. Rosklat. Look at that. We didn't even drop any viewers. People were so engaged. Their minds were being blown by the level of alpha that was being provided on stream that they couldn't even get away from the stream while I was gone. Fucking love that. Appreciate the loyalty, gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe, retweet, like the video. Just give me something. Give me something. I'm giving you everything. Just give me a little something, please. Like, comment. Just get this out to everybody. Let's all make some money, huh? All right, let's pull this back up. So what I was saying here, okay? So basically, my point was, is this weekly RSI is not in this overbought territory where we've had tops before, okay? Where we've had tops before, the RSI was hugely overbought, okay? Boom, super overbought, cooled all the way off into this region, which was over this 8-month reaccumulation range during the summertime of 2024. Overbought again, top out right here, come back right back down into the same level, even lower actually, even lower on this nuke right here, okay? So, we come back up into here. We're still not overbought. This is my point. We're still not overbought on the weekly. So to me, that says, okay, if this is really another leg up higher, then we're going to get into this highly overbought green zone on Bitcoin again before we start to top out and pull back. Well, we haven't gotten there, so let's go higher. Let's go higher, baby. Come on. So that's what I'm expecting on this next leg up. All right, so you want some cycle targets? You want to see, oh, where's Bitcoin going next? How high can it go? I'm going to give you everything today. I'm going to give you everything. So you want your fibs? I'll give you your fibs, Harry. I'll give you your fibs. Let's just hide all the trend lines. Let me give you some Fibonacci's. How many fibs do we have? We have 1. Okay. Let's hit this out of log. So we can do this one of 2 ways. Okay. So as I had been talking about before, every major chart in crypto has had this major 4-year reaccumulation range rejected and broke back down, except for Bitcoin. So look, 4-year reaccumulation. Here's the fibs. Same thing with the others chart I was telling you about, right? 4-year reaccumulation. I'll even show you it on ETH, right? I don't have it on this chart, but I'll show you real quick. I don't want to hide no more. I'm trapped in my conscience. Nobody. See? Massive 4-year reaccumulation range. Has not broken out yet. Okay. Only one that's broken out is Bitcoin. So when you drew the fibs on Bitcoin, right here, we topped out at the top of the range, previous cycle all-time high, okay? We ranged right below it, and then we finally broke out. Look where we topped out at, 1.618. Look at that, 1.618. So what do we do here finally? So on the 1.618, this was our first fib target. This is exactly where we topped out at. This would have been a good time to take profits, et cetera, et cetera. We come back down. We front run the perfect retest of the range high. We front ran it and pumped straight back up and did what this time? This is the first time we've done it where we actually closed 2 candles above this 1.618. So we closed the first one above, and this was your top, and then right after that, we lost it, retested, lost it again. Okay, so we broke through, lost it, resistance, broke down. This time, we actually broke through, closed above, perfect retest on this wick of the 1.618. If we stay above, this would signify we turned it into support, the 1.618. Next target, and this is why I've been saying 155. Where do I get these numbers from? I don't just make them up. 2.618 on Bitcoin. So I would expect on the next leg up a $155,000 Bitcoin. Okay. So we hit the 2.618 on Bitcoin. To me, that says, well, then we should be hitting the 1.618 on the others chart on Ethereum, which would be 7,300. Why is it fucking... I'm trapped in my conscience. Buddy, I wish you would me. I don't want to cry no more. Let me see. I should have fibs black. Yep. So you could draw the range like this if you want from here. Yeah. Okay. So the 1.618, if we extend it to the left on ETH, would be 7,000. Okay. 7,000. What was this top at? Right at 4,100. If you want to be insanely conservative, and make this super tight, you could say the 1.618 on ETH is 5,900, 5,700. That would be the absolute most conservative target. Okay. So if Bitcoin goes to 2.618, I'm expecting ETH to at least hit this 1.618. Okay. That's as conservative as you could possibly be. Okay. So those are my targets on Bitcoin. Okay. Now, why do I believe we can go up in there? What else have we been tracking? Global liquidity. Okay. Global liquidity. Last time Bitcoin pumped, global liquidity was parabolic. So what did Bitcoin do? Parabolic. Lose it, pump, 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 pump. Top out here. It's a leading indicator. Bitcoin tops out. We pull back. Or are we back on global M2? Look what we're doing on global M2. Global M2 is shooting up. Looking on the daily. It's shooting up. Let's put it on the weekly. Okay. So what do I think happens with Bitcoin? It shoots up. Okay? Because this is a leading indicator. As the global liquidity has gone up across the entire world, this liquidity flows into what? Into major assets. So it's another point of confluence where I'm saying, well, if we topped out here on global liquidity, this was the all-time high for global liquidity. This move is a leading indicator. So from this low to this high, we pumped hard. So from this low to this high, we pumped hard. We drew back on Bitcoin. We are now at all-time highs on global liquidity. Okay, so we are now well above the all-time highs. Well, if we're all-time highs on global liquidity, where's that money going to flow into? Into major assets, into risk assets like Bitcoin. So I expect Bitcoin to go to new all-time highs. Again, point of confluence, okay? So that's my analysis on Bitcoin right now, just on a higher time frame. That's where I expect it to go, 155,000. And as long as this liquidity continues to move up, which it should, given the current economic situation, it should continue to go up, especially if we can get these rate cuts in the U.S. from Jerome Powell, then we're cooking. Okay, so this is super encouraging as well. Love that. You know something we haven't looked at in a long time? Let's look at, we're going to do some gold analysis as well, because one of the guys, including myself, had put in some trades on gold, because gold looks like it's about to do something interesting. What was I going to look at? Let's look at the TGA. We haven't looked at that in a while. This is going to be the Treasury General account as well. Aha. See? Look at this. Makes sense. June 23. Sideways. February. Look at this. Interesting. Okay? Look at this. We haven't looked at this in a while. So this is the TGA, Treasury General Account. Okay? So this is literally the Fed's bank account. The Treasury General Account. It's their checking account. They load this up with liquidity. And then whenever the Treasury feels like it, they can dump this liquidity into whatever they choose to dump it into. But typically this money would find its way into markets or into the economy, therefore pumping assets. So as the Treasury General Account gets depleted and they inject this liquidity into markets, into the economy, into other things, this money makes its way into risk assets. This is bullish when this chart's coming down, right? So let's take a look. Right after COVID, so COVID happened March of 2020. So look at this. I'm giving you guys fucking alpha. So, boom, right here. Look, right here. March 2020. This is exactly when COVID came out. Boom. What happens the moment COVID came out? Bang. Epidemic, pandemic, whatever the fuck. They absolutely load the fuck up in the Treasury General account. So they printed a fuck ton of money to try to basically stimulate the economy because everybody was shitting themselves. So you see this massive spike in the Treasury General account. So the account got up to $1.8 trillion balance. It's the highest that the Treasury General account balance has ever been, by far. By fucking far. This is also why I said the bull market conditions after COVID were the most perfect conditions possible, because there was so much liquidity that got injected. They basically doubled the monetary supply in a year, which is insane. So there's insane inflation. So as soon as COVID happens, they pump this shit up to a $1.83 trillion account. And then what happens? When was the bull run? When was the last crypto bull run? Alt season was May 21 and November, December 21. Well, let's take a look. Right? Look, nuke from here, April, May, June. Right? Last alt season. When was the other alt season? December 21. Nuke, alt season. Interesting. Who's showing you this alpha? Is anybody showing you this alpha? No, it's just me. Okay. So they basically took $1.8 trillion and injected literally over $1 trillion into markets and the economy. Over $1 trillion. Okay. June 23. That's whenever we started pumping when? June 23. So June 23 is when they injected liquidity. What happened right after? Pump. Where's the TGA? Okay. Then they restock the balance. Okay. This is all 2024. February 2025. Big nuke. Uh-oh. Last time we had a big nuke, we started moving up, right? Big nuke into February of 25, nuked it all the way into April 25 last month. What started happening all of a sudden, end of April, beginning of May? Prices started moving back up in assets, risk assets. They injected this liquidity into whatever it was. We don't know exactly. I mean, maybe you could find it, but we don't know exactly what they injected that liquidity into. But that money made it back. It made its way back into markets. Whether that was they injected that into bond markets, which I believe they did, or actual markets themselves, who knows? But they injected liquidity, billions of dollars. This was up at 824 billion. Down to 300. So that's $500 billion. $500 billion that got sent out of their checking account into providing liquidity, probably likely to bond markets, because China and those nations stopped buying the bonds. Okay. So it was likely the bond market where that liquidity got injected into. Okay. This is huge because now we're seeing that effect in financial markets. So if we start to see this move back down again and nuke it back into, 40, 41 billion, huge, okay? Because down here, 41, that's a massive move because this was from 800 down to 300, so that's 500 billion. And then 500 billion back down into 50 would be another 500 billion. It's $1 trillion of liquidity that just got injected. $1 trillion. That's a massive move. If we can get it down into like here to these lows again, take out these lows, maybe even take out these lows, right? Huge. So you can see that this is why I also have been bullish, because this administration, what Pompeo and these guys are doing is they're trying to inject liquidity into the bond markets and get these markets liquid again so that the yields can come down. And so then they can pump risk assets, right? And so you saw that happening. Now that's a form of backdoor QE, okay? Injecting liquidity into bond markets and into these other markets is it's a backdoor form of QE without actually doing official QE, which is quantitative expanding or expansion. So right now, we're actually in QT. Now, we did cut down on the QT. We cut it in half from one of the last FOMC meetings, okay? So we're right now in a state of quantitative tightening, which is taking liquidity out of markets. It means we're selling and taking money out of markets. As soon as the Fed stops QT altogether and continues with this form of backdoor QE, that will send markets higher. They're providing liquidity into markets, allowing prices to move up, okay? So this is very strategic what they're doing. They're doing this on purpose. So that you see them taking money out of this treasury account, ejecting liquidity into the bond market, making it more liquid because China and these other nations have stopped buying our bonds because of the tariff war. And as things subside and things cool down and they start coming back to our bond market, risk assets rip because it'll bring the price of, or it'll bring the yields down on bonds, okay? Which we want. We want bond yields to come down to be bullish for risk assets, okay? This is good to take a look at. So everything is trending in the right direction, right? You see the Treasury General account nuke, we start pumping. You see M2 pump. You see risk assets pump, okay? All of this makes sense. All of this is confluent. This is not by accident or by mistake or they just so happen to be trending in the right direction. No. This makes sense. This is exactly what's supposed to be happening, okay? So we love that. So Treasury General accounts getting that liquidity just got dumped in the markets. Love that. Let's take a look at gold, okay? I've done this TA on gold, which is beautiful, and I'll give you the play that we took on gold, okay, or what I'm thinking. So gold went through this very large reaccumulation range from these two vertical lines I have drawn out. Okay. So from March 2020, COVID nuke, gold pumped naturally because gold is basically a hedge against the current financial system. So if people are afraid about the current financial system, or they don't believe in it, or they don't believe in investments, etc., gold is a safe haven. Gold is a safe haven for capital because it's basically the oldest, longest standing source of wealth preservation. That basically will stand the test of time because it's always going to be there. It can't break down. It's just gold. It's gold. People value gold for centuries, so it'll keep being valued. Okay. So we went through this massive reaccumulation range, a couple of years, right? So from 2020 all the way through 2024. Okay. Then what happened? Gold started ripping. Look at how cleanly gold trades. We have fibs drawn out on here. So here's the bottom of the range, mid-range, top of the range. Very clear range. As soon as we break out of the range, where do we top out at? Perfectly, and start to reaccumulate. This is on the weekly, so start to reaccumulate here. 1.618, perfect target. Boom. We break out again, pump straight up, boom, right into where? Where do we go straight into? And basically come back and retest. 2.618, perfect fib tag. We pump again, straight up only. 3.618 is where we start to reject and reaccumulate. 3,200. Technical analysis doesn't work. No, of course it works. Clearly it works. Okay. So gold has hit all of its fibs beautifully, almost perfectly. Okay. If you go on the daily, we wicked up almost to the 4.2 fib. Okay. So what does this look like to you guys? Looks like a double top. Okay. Got stuffed here, pulled back, came back up, got stuffed again, pulled back down. Doesn't look like we're reclaiming this 3.618. So here's why this is important. This is a potential short. It's that Air Force coming to attack us because we gave too much alpha. Okay. This is a play that you can make on gold. So basically, it would make sense to short gold here because this looks like a double top. This thing has ran to the 3.618 fib, which is insane. I mean, that's a fucking insane rally to the 3.618, basically without stopping at all. Just quick little reaccumulations, then pump to the next level. Huge. Gold has been soaring. So here's why I think you can short it here. Double top, right at this fib level. We just lost the fib level. It's the first time that we actually, actually lost a fib. Because every other time we hit it, we just traded next to it and then above it. Never broke there. Broke here, but didn't lose it. Broke here. Looks like we're losing it now. So one of two things could happen. I would put my stop right above. I mean, you could put it right there if you really wanted to. Give you some room. I would put my stop loss on the short right at this candle. Because that would be a reclaim of this 3.618, and then it could start running again. But if you short it from here, you could easily have a target of this 2.618. And if you really think this shit is bearish, I mean, over a long enough time frame, maybe get that low. Down 21%. Nah, that'd be fucking greedy. That'd be greedy. But definitely down to this fib. Okay, take out this low right here, right? In a bear market for gold. So this looks like a good play to me. So I'm just putting this out there because it would make sense that gold would be topped here if we see risk assets really actually fucking run over the next 6 to 9 months. It's just because how much further can gold really run? I mean, it could rip up to this 4.2 fib, but that's why you keep this tight stop loss. Like if it reclaims this fib right here, this 3.618, then yeah, you could run it back up to that high. And then I would look to short it up in here. right? And then get this move down. Whoops. Short it on a loss of that fib and then try to run it back down into here, right? But that's the play on gold, okay? It just looks toppy. It looks topped. Okay. So there's a gold play for you. I like that. Otherwise, I mean, just ridiculous rally. So here's your range. This is how you look at these. You get this reaccumulation range. You start to see this play out over a couple of years. So you put fibs on it and you say, okay, I'm bullish on this asset. We have this 4-year range that's very clear mid-range. Interaction, 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 interaction. Very clear mid-range, very clear top of the range. See? 1, 2, 3, 4 tags, 5 tags. Very clear bottom of the range right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So then if you long anywhere at the low of this range or even at this mid-range, you print it on gold because then you hit your 1.618. You take a little bit of profit here. 2.618, second take profit zone. 3.618, take profit. And then if you really want to leave like 20%, 15% to ride, if you think it's still going to keep mooning, then you leave a moon bag. But you can long it all the way up. So gold was a fantastic play over the last couple of last year or so. Yeah, year. It's been up only. Okay. But you can only be up only for so long, right? So I would start looking for some shorts on gold, either right around here or above this 4.2. Okay. Here's your gold analysis. Here's your Fartcoin analysis. Who could have foreseen? Okay, so we talked about Fartcoin. We obviously got in this inside the Discord much earlier. It was on the retest of this demand zone. Beautiful fucking entry. And then I told you, Fartcoin, go back, go watch the video. It's all on YouTube. It's all live. I was saying in here, where's going to be your pullback to be able to enter into Fartcoin? I told you, what's your best case scenario? Go back and watch the last live. What did I say? What did I say? I literally drew this exact demand zone. I told you this is your spot. Whoops. I said you get back down into 1.1, 1.2-ish, right? Like right into this demand zone. That's your bid zone. And what happened? We got it. So if we do like this, you're down 20%, 15%. That's where I would have been getting into Fartcoin. Okay. This is the market leading altcoin risk on asset. Okay. Fartcoin has been stair stepping up beautifully for the past month or two since March. Okay. This was a parabolic blow off top. This is a stair step. This is loading up for moves up higher. On Fartcoin, I'm expecting. Where's that? Right here. Parabola. Okay. This was your bid zone. I told you this was your demand zone. This is probably your best case. If you're super, 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 super lucky, you get that one. You didn't. And I don't expect you to get it. So like right at $1. But this was your expected one. What do I expect to happen on this if we start moving up here pretty soon? Parabola. So you stair step up. Okay, and then eventually this is going to get more and more aggressive, and you're going to see this blow off top like over here. Okay, that is good. Fartcoin is continuing to show strength. That's bullish for altcoins. What else has been doing very well? Hype. This is the other risk on indicator right now. So these ones you just want to make sure you have positions in just because they're alphas and they're performing well. But you also want to pay attention because they're giving context to the broader market. This is Hyperliquid's coin, Hype. Okay, you set this low with Fartcoin, and then we rip off the lows. Up 3x. 3x already up off the lows. Okay. This is another leading risk asset indicator. Okay. This is a very clear supply zone. You see hype flip this, all altcoins are risk on again. So look, clearly we nuke off of here, nuke off of here, nuke off of here. We could not get back through this supply. We come back into it and see what happens. You start moving sideways, okay? Hype is so close. As soon as hype gets past this supply region, okay, this overhead supply, number one, you're going to rip. So it's worthwhile to have a position in something like this. Right? You're probably going to $45, $50 on hype. Minimum. Put in log, and then put the fibs in log. You're looking at $64. Super conservative though, 45. Yeah. Okay. So that's what you're looking like on hype. Get over this supply. You're going straight to this one. Maybe you range a little bit right here, and then you're going up to the 1.618. Okay. Important to pay attention to hype. Why? Because it's a risk on indicator for this next leg up. As soon as hype and as soon as Fartcoin started catching bids and started ripping off of the lows, that's how you knew, okay, we're back risk on. You want to pay attention to what the leaders are. It gives you an indication as to where the market is going to follow. Okay. Why does it work like that? Well, because people watch these assets as indicators, literally indicators. Okay, all right, there's a bid for hype. There's a bid for Fartcoin. These are the market's favorites. If these are moving and they're catching a bid and people are turning risk on, and these are the first assets that they're going to pick up as they go risk on, that means there's going to be a follow-up bid on the rest of altcoins that have mindshare, that have value right now, to get these bids in accordance to Fartcoin and hype. So as long as you don't see Fartcoin and hype start to break down, then you remain bullish. Because hype has literally been up only since the lows. Fartcoin, has been up only off the lows. We are risk on. People are reallocating the markets. Nothing to be afraid about. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I gave you guys the fucking sauce. That's all you get. If you're not already a part of the network, well, I suppose you're just not that into making money, which I suppose it's fine. Not everybody likes making money. But for those of you who do, want to win, dominate, win at the highest levels, and actually be a part of a network of fucking hustlers, winners, people who want to make money, then I suggest you join the Taylor's Code. Link is in the description. Go to the website. Join as a professional. That's going to be just access to the private Discord and all the general chats. Join as a gentleman to get access to the private crypto place so you can actually get one-on-one analysis for myself on your portfolio. You're going to see what I'm buying, what I'm accumulating, what shorts and longs I'm opening up, analysis every single day, charts every single day on the assets that you want to see. You're going to get access to all that with the gentleman. Hero, you get access to everything. Every professor, every campus, every fucking crypto play, everything. If you're a hero, you'll go for everything. Outside of that, I've got nothing else to sell you on. I'm just going to start saying it. Because it's the truth. Why sugarcoat it? We're making millions, okay? We're making millions of dollars. Why the fuck would you not want to be in a part of an environment like that where you can make millions of dollars? Why would you not want to be a part of that environment where you can multiply your wealth, give your family a better life, better healthcare, better home, better food, better water, better life experiences, better vacations, better clothes? Why wouldn't you? Do you not deserve that? I deserve it. I know I deserve it. I know the people around me deserve a better life. Why would you not deserve a better life? There's opportunity out there. You just got to be able to identify it, take advantage, and be around the right people who can put you in positions to win. Most people, it's not that they can't win. It's not that they can't make money. They're just not in a position to win. If you never play the game, you can't win the game. How are you ever going to win a game if you don't ever play it? Get in the game. Join the network. Let's make some fucking money, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'll see you guys. I'll likely probably do another stream tomorrow because I want to pump out as much as humanly possible this week because it's time to lock in. It's game time. It's bull run time. It's alt season time. It's time. Time to fucking lock in, motherfucker. So I'm going to go live more this week and give you guys a juice. All right. Mr. Producer,
Mr. Producer.